And with me now is the chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Congressman Ed Royce. Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
Good evening.
All right. The Taliban 5 scheduled to be released within hours. Your reaction?
Well, I think the National Director of Intelligence gave us a pretty good sense of what to expect when he said the chance of 4 of them coming back into the fight is probably 9 out of 10. The chance of the 5th, maybe 8 out of 10. So here you have 5 of the most dangerous. Released, I believe, because the administration wants to clear out Guantanamo Bay. I think this was an excuse to get rid of people that otherwise they would not have justification for releasing. And remember, he went around the requirement that he notify Congress 30 days prior.
Well, we all know that the ones
I think we've got a brace for this.
Oh, I do too, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but there's no question that the ones who were last held in Guantanamo were the worst of the worst, correct?
Well, correct. One of them's a deputy director of intelligence for the Taliban. Another is a commander. A third is a regional governor. A fourth was a deputy defense minister. The fifth had ties directly to Al-Qaeda, as did several of the others. And so you have people who, between them, are responsible for thousands of civilian deaths up in Afghanistan, and they now, as of tonight, will presumably be free to travel. And
of course, free to return to the battlefield. No one's monitoring them. I mean, nobody has any hold on them whatsoever. And what makes this administration think that the years that they've spent in Guantanamo have rehabilitated them?
Well, of course, the situation is such that in past conflicts, we have held enemy combatants who owe their allegiance to those who want to destroy us. We have held them in captivity until the end of the war. In this case, Al-Qaeda has not been defeated, and neither has the Taliban. They're making war right now against U.S. service members and our allies. And so this was a very dangerous thing for the administration to do.
All right. Now, the administration, according to reports, you heard the sound of General McChrystal, believed that he was a deserter. My understanding is that initially on a website he was indicated, the Pentagon indicated he was a deserter. Why would the president trade this man for 5 of the worst? I mean, it's bad enough we're releasing the 5 of the worst in Taliban, but why for Bergdahl? Why not for Steve Sotloff or James Foley, innocent journalist? Why for this man?
Well, I think this was a convenient excuse, something that temporarily worked for the administration in terms of clearing these 5 out, but this is not the only example. My committee is looking into 6 individuals that were transferred to Uruguay by the administration, and as we've seen the evidence, they've been spotted about 40 times now around the U.S. Embassy in Uruguay. They are no longer under observation, so they've thrown caution to the wind here. It's been a very reckless act, but again, what we're talking about is an attempt to close Guantanamo down, and I believe what he intends to do is try to transfer it back to Cuba.
Well,
so under these kinds of circumstances.
Well, I was going to ask you that, Congressman. I mean, does it go back to Cuba? I mean, is this part of the deal where the resumption of relations with Cuba is that they get Guantanamo back? I mean, is that a valuable area?
Well, we have a long-term leasing arrangement there, and one of the things we're trying to make certain of in Congress as we pass legislation is that Guantanamo not be closed and it not be returned to Cuba by this administration. But all evidence right now points to a real fixation on getting that closed.
What would we do with it?
What would we do with Guantanamo?
Yeah, if it's
what we do with Guantanamo is hold. But the point is, what we use it for is to hold those who are taken into custody overseas trying to kill Americans or kill our forces overseas. And it beats bringing them here to the United States and giving them a platform and making a target in state penitentiaries or in the United States. This is the preferable way to handle these terrorists.
Let's talk about Iran. Now, you're going to have hearings on Tuesday, I understand, June 2nd, with a discussion of Americans missing or detained in Iran. And yet today, interestingly enough, we've got the resumption of the Iran nuke talks. Is one American, this gentleman by the name of Jason Rezaian, who's on trial in Iran, is that leverage by Iran to try to, get the nuclear deal signed off on in exchange for, releasing this guy that the president says, he won't rest until this journalist is released?
I think that's a very interesting question, because Iran has a long history of taking American hostages going back to 1979 and trying to use them as leverage. You'll recall that President Reagan put an end to that when he was inaugurated. They were quick to change their method of operation with hostages, but now they're back at it. We're having a hearing Tuesday with the brother of this Washington Post editorial reporter who is going to testify. But we also have family members of 3 other families, Americans, who are held in Iran. And this shows, frankly, the attitude Iran has towards the United States. And I would add one other thing that broadcasts attitude. Every time the Ayatollah says death to America, or says we're going to mass produce ICBMs here, or the Iranian regime announces that now that they're going to rebuild the tunnels for Hamas and transfer $20 million and give them rockets and missiles to replace the inventory that was lost in the Gaza war, it tells us the real intentions of Iran, and that's why the administration seems so blind to the reality. Attitude says a lot. When your adversaries tell you what they intend to do.
But speaking of attitude, with far more equipment and far more soldiers in Iraq, ISIS shows up, and the Iraqis that we've been training, I don't know for how many years, they just take off and they drop everything. Why?
I think this shows the influence that Iran has had on Baghdad, because Baghdad will not allow the equipment or weapons to be put into the hands, for example, of the Kurds. The Kurdish foreign minister has been out to see me several times. His argument to my committee is we're fighting with small arms fire over a 600-mile front. We need that artillery, long-range mortars. We need the anti-tank weapons. We can't get them because Baghdad won't release them. Why? Because the government in Iran tell their allies in Baghdad, don't do it. Likewise, the Sunni tribes that were fighting in Ramadi say, we can't get the anti-tank weapons. We can't get the support. Why? Because these decisions are made by Baghdad, and those generals who ordered the retreat, they're political appointees, basically, who did not stay and fight. So I would suggest that if we have those who want to do the fighting in the Kurdish ranks and, among the tribes, allow them, but don't run through Baghdad as long as it's going to kowtow to the Iranian government.
Right. Chairman Royce, thank you so much for being with us this evening.
Thank you.